it was a heavy realization when it dawned on me that I was booked the next week or 2 weeks later to be on campus with Charlie as part of his college tour at Virginia Tech. And he was booked a couple of weeks after that to come with me on my tour. And it was like, I remember saying to the team, we have to pull the promos. Like, he's in them. We have to pull the promos because Charlie's dead. It's just, you can't believe it. I still can't believe it. And then came the question of safety. Like, is it safe for me to go on Charlie's campus tour, which is the venue in which he was killed? Can it be made safe? And should we continue with our tour, which had been announced 2 days before Charlie's assassination? It just hit the presses and we were just starting ticket sales. And look, we did talk about it seriously. Obviously, my husband had some strong thoughts on it. But in the end, Miranda, it was like, there is zero part of me that could not do it. Like, there is just no part of me that could ever have said no. That thing is not in me. It was just very clear to me. I'm doing it. So the only real question is, how do we make it safe? And not just safe for me, but safe for everybody. I want the Virginia Tech kids to be safe when we go there. I want the people who come to see me and my guests to be absolutely safe and not even have it be a thought. And really what that required was money to, hire the best security and make sure everything is pristine on our security procedures, which we've done. And I'm completely satisfied that we will be very, very safe on my tour. And then on Charlie's tour at Virginia Tech, it was a different thing because that was my first time getting up in front of an audience, and Charlie had just been killed. And this was like, I was supposed to be there with him. And it was like that. I'm not going to lie. The first couple of minutes that I was standing there, it was an odd feeling. I felt exposed in a way I don't normally feel exposed in public speaking events, but it was just a couple of seconds. And God bless Glenn Youngkin, the great, great outgoing governor of Virginia, because he was there too. He started and he was great. He's got an in-depth knowledge of the Christian faith that I wish I had, that Charlie had. And he kind of set a great tone in the room. And then, this is what a sweetheart he is. I haven't told anybody the story, but he came with a bunch of security because he's the governor. And he had the guys, like the shit kicking guys, and like I don't know if you can swear on this podcast, forgive me, but like with like the camo and the helmets and like the big serious ammo across their bodies. And
excellent.
Governor Youngkin left before I left because, I was there much longer than he was with the Q&A. And he left all those guys behind saying, you stay here and you take care of Megyn, which he totally didn't have to do, but what a class act. Anyway, my point is simply, it can be made safe. And while it wasn't without risk, I'm very glad I did it. And there is, like, so far what we're seeing in the ticket sales for my event, you can get your tickets at megynkelly.com, is that people are rushing to buy the tickets. Like, we've already sold out at multiple venues. So I feel like, if anything, it's had an effect on the audience of like wanting to give the middle finger. Like, they want to be part of the hell no, an assassin's bullet is not going to silence any of us from saying or standing up for all these same principles that drove Charlie, that drive me, that drive you, that motivate all of us to say the things.
Courage is contagious, and you've shown courage. Where does that come from, Megyn? We haven't got a lot of time, and I would have liked to have given you more time, but I know that in your childhood, you suffered a tragedy when you were 15, when your father died suddenly, your beloved father. How did that impact you? And did that give you sort of resilience?
That's an interesting question. I don't think it gave me resilience exactly. Maybe it helped, but the thing that gave me more than any other thing after grief, was it made me make better decisions in my life. We all know no tomorrow is promised as a saying, but it at a gut level when you have loss, like profound loss at a young age. And so it's the reason I got out of my first marriage early and before we'd had children. It's the reason I left the law when I was about to make partner at a big white shoe firm, because I wasn't happy. It's driven me to do so many things that I otherwise wouldn't have done. It's the reason I took a job in journalism where the first job, I made $17,000 a year, even though I'd been making money as a lawyer, like all these things, because you just realize you have to make good choices, and it could all end tomorrow. Look at poor Charlie. I mean, he died doing exactly what he wanted to be doing. You know, he had so many years that he was owed, in my view, ahead of him, but he didn't waste one that he had been here.
No.
So few of us can say that. So I would say that about my dad. And then, you know, resilience, that just comes from continuous risk taking. You should always take risks, even if you're not a courageous person, because the more risks you take, they either pan out and then you feel like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or they don't pan out. And then you literally only have to do one thing: keep going. It's not even that hard. Just keep going. That's it. You don't have to keep going with courage, keep going with a sense of humor, keep going happily. Just keep going is the only thing you have to do when you fail. And then time passes and you realize that wasn't so bad either. Actually, I've learned a lot about myself. I'm still standing. I now feel I have some impunity against these attacks. Like I'm less vulnerable to these cretins who try to hurt me. I have a better perspective on my life and my place in it, my world. So that's it. Just risk taking and then the resolve to do that one thing. Keep going.
And your children, you have 3 children, still quite young, 2 boys and a girl. And did having boys, I know because I had this epiphany when I had boys, did that make you sort of become less feminist in a way and more understanding of how men and especially boys were being crushed by the dominant culture?
Definitely. And I think I've said this before, but I think that it's the way that in the same way, interracial marriages that produce mixed race children can be a real solution to some of the race nonsense that we have in our country right now. You know, like somebody like Sage Steele, who's got a white mom and a black dad. She's so sensible about race. And you get Sage going about race and you're like, yes, 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 everything she's saying, because she's got that unique perspective, right? She loves her mother. She loves her father. She sees what both experiences have been, and she stands up for both equally. She doesn't buy into the nonsense. Same thing for mothers of sons and daughters, you know, because or even just a mother of a son, because the mother's had the experience as a woman, but now has the sharp experience of needing to protect a boy. So I really think it's a gift, because it does send you to this place of, whoa, 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 on the Me Too stuff. Like, let's hold on. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's remember due process is important here, and men's rights. And, you know, that was half of the speech I gave for President Trump the night before the election, was about our forgotten boys and what the left had done to them, and, you know, and our forgotten men, you know, what's being done to men. So that's been sort of a main focus of my coverage, I would say, for the past 20 years, what we're doing to boys and men in the name of progress, which is, of course, anything but.
And that's so personal because you're of your own sons.
Yeah. I mean, my sons, and frankly, my husband. And to be perfectly honest with you, just my life as a lawyer, where I'm trained to look at both sides. And if you look at both sides, you can see that there's been a lot of injustice done to American men. No one gives a damn how high their suicide rate is. No one gives a damn when they get thrown off college campuses with zero due process and almost no chance for appeal. And even when they do win their appeals, they're not allowed back on campus. All of society's ills being blamed on them. Meanwhile, they have none of the advantages. They don't get the affirmative action. They don't belong in DEI. They don't even get the quiet nod of like, okay, we'll take this one over that one anymore. They just get nothing. They get all the blame, none of the advantages. And God forbid they happen to be white too. Forget about it. And then they're told to buck up. Then you have the Joy Reids of the world saying, oh, white tears, spare me. Like absolutely no empathy whatsoever for their humanity, which is why, you know, you kind of want to smack her in her fat face, but you can't do that. So instead you just have to laugh at her because she actually has proven herself a fool.